Hi there! You're about to listen to a vintage episode of the Under the Microscope podcast. While the content is still as relevant and as interesting as when it was recorded, our webpage has changed. You can now find us at thesciencetalk.com/real-scientist-nano. Welcome to Under the Microscope. This series is brought to you by the Real Scientists Nano team. Our goal is to provide a platform where scientists can communicate their work and interact with the public. Hi everyone. Today we have with us Giulia Pacchioni, who is a senior editor of Nature Review Materials. Hi Giulia, how are you?
Hello, I'm very well, thank you.
Excellent. Let's get started. So, could you explain your work to us in super simple words? So, before you do that, just so you know, you are the first person from the publishing industry to come on our podcast and take over the account. So far, we have mainly have had active researchers, active scientists. So, your work is definitely going to be something different, something unique for us. So, please tell us about your work in super simple words, please.
Sure. The journal I work on, Nature Reviews Materials, is a journal that specializes in publishing reviews or perspectives or comments about material science. So we don't publish what we call primary articles, that are articles with new results, but it's articles that look at what has been done in the past few years, what's interesting, what are the trends. As my job as an editor on the journal is, first of all, to identify topics that are interesting, that are emerging, and the people who are doing the most exciting research on those topics. And then I contact them for them to write a review, typically for the journal. Or sometimes it is scientists who come with us with ideas for reviews they would like to write. And then what I do, I help them shape the idea and decide what structure the article should have, how much content can go into a single review, and just help them make plans for what can go in the figures and how much literature they can cover. And then I try to make sure they keep on track with their writing. So having, regular updates about how is it going and how many months do they still need to write. And once the article is ready, I take care of the peer review process. So I try to find free experts who can give comments, both technical and about the accessibility of the article. And once the article is in tip-top shape and all the content is as good as it should be, I edit the text and figures for clarity to make sure it is concise and accessible and well-structured. So it's a really interesting job that goes from the inception of the idea all the way to polishing of the sentences until both me and the authors are happy that the article is ready to be read.
Okay, that sounds quite interesting. So, just out of curiosity, what is a typical time from the ideation to finally the article coming out? Like, is it like 1 year, 2 years, 6 months, or like average time? Of course, it's different for every article, I'm assuming, but just on average.
Fastest ones, it would be around 6 months. I'd say average, maybe 1 year.
Average is 1 year. Okay. And these are different kinds of articles, not the typical articles that scientists are sending to the publishers and sending to the journals. These are different kinds, like perspectives, reviews,
Yeah, that's
opinion
right.
pieces as well.
Yeah.
Does
Yeah.
that? Okay, that sounds really interesting. So, what can the followers expect in the week that you will be taking over the Real Scientist Nano Twitter account?
The plan is to start with introducing myself and my career and my journey up to here. And then I would like to highlight what an editorial career looks like, what's interesting on the job, what's exciting, introduce them to some editors who are very active on Twitter and who can shed light on the different aspects of the job, and tweet a bit about how to prepare for an editorial career if that's what they're interested in, where to find opportunities, this kind of content. Then I would like to move on tips on how to write in a way that's clear and concise to get their message across, and how to design figures, which is very important, and it's they say an image is worth more than 1,000 words. So I would like to dedicate a few tweets to resources and articles that explain what is the best way to put your ideas into figures. Then I think I will have one day that's dedicated to how to pitch your research, how to submit, how to prepare a cover letter, how to reply to reviewers, because that's something that people learn on the job, but I feel younger scientists, it can be very scary for them. And a lot of people feel a journal is a black box where things happen after they submit the manuscript. And what the message I would like to get across during this week is that editors are people. If there is a problem, if there is a question, sometimes authors are stressed because they need the article to be accepted, or they need a decision because they're applying for a position, they want to put it on their CV, whatever. And the editor is someone you can email or call, and most often they will be willing to work on whatever your issue is. And it's not a system where editors are all powerful, hidden in their cave, and authors are just waiting fearfully for a decision, but it should be a conversation.
Okay.
And maybe I think we could also talk a bit about publishing models, open access versus subscriptions, or journals with professional editors versus journals with editorial board, because a lot of younger scientists are not that exposed to what happens behind the scenes, and it's quite interesting to understand how different journals work.
Yeah, absolutely. This all sounds like a very important. Everything that you mentioned is very important pieces of information, which often the researchers don't have access to, or they don't even know where to get this information. So this is really cool. I hope you can also maybe go to the office and show us some pictures of how does your lab look like. I'm putting it in quotes. How does your work look like? If it is possible, I don't know with the pandemic situation if that is even possible.
I
Would
was
be
in the
nice.
office yesterday and I took a couple of pics for next week.
That is amazing. Excellent. Then thank you very much, Giulia. It has been wonderful speaking with you and looking forward to having you on Real Scientist Nano.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
Thank you for listening. To know more about us, please visit our website, realscientistsnano.org, and follow us on Twitter at realsci_nano.